it provides a program to rate players outside competitive competition.
That's exactly right.
And that's 90% of the people involved in pickleball.
Right.
So that's a big audience. And then Tony Corbo says, hey, Riff, what is the future of the two teaching organizations with the USAPA?
Okay, well, that's a great question, Tony. Obviously, I can't predict the future. All I can say is that it did not come as a surprise to me. Obviously, pickleball has grown tremendously over the past few years. There's a lot of our members that are making good money. That's important to me. When I started IPTPA, I had two objectives in mind, short-term objectives. I wanted to protect the players that were getting coached or were getting lessons taught that weren't pickleball players. They were just tennis players or racquetball players. They really were just teaching tennis with the paddle. And so that was one objective. And the other objective was that I wanted all of our members that were passionate about pickleball to have an opportunity to make a living, to teach and do things that they were passionate about. And I think, we've been very successful at that. So the IPTPA program has been in existence for, almost 2.5 years. The IPTPA program has set the standard worldwide of how to teach pickleball. The IPTPA membership is made up of the best players and the best coaches in the world, bar none. So I don't mind competition. I welcome competition. For the first time, IPTPA gets to be compared right next to another organization. I love that. Before, it was just IPTPA by itself. Now, there's another organization that has come in, and we get to compare programs. So I love that. I've been a competitor my entire life. I've owned several companies. I was a competitive athlete. So, I like competition. It's going to make me sharper. I'm going to work harder, smarter, and the rest of our member staff will do likewise. So I welcome competition. I will tell you that I'm disappointed in just one thing, that IPTPA was a proven teaching certification program. And I'm a little surprised that the USAPA put all of their weight behind an unproven pickleball organization. I understand that they are a proven tennis organization, but they've never certified one pickleball player. They have Sarah, who was an IPTPA member, is a great player. She's leading them. That's great. But to put all of your weight behind an unproven commodity, to me, was a surprise. And that did catch me off guard. So we will see. Like I said, I don't mind competition. I will put our program and our members against anyone. So I'm very confident IPTPA will continue to grow. IPTPA is not interested in how big or how much money comes through. We're interested in one thing and one thing only: to be the best teaching organization in the world, to provide our members with the greatest opportunity for continued education, to give them every opportunity to be the best teacher they can be, and to provide the utmost and most modern teaching techniques to help the players. That's why at IPTPA, over a year ago, we put in 3 guidelines for any IPTPA member that was going to be out there doing clinics. We put these guidelines in to protect the player, because that's our audience, okay? And the guidelines that we set forth was that you had to have a maximum of 8-to-1. Look, I've taught at the high school level. I've taught at the college level. I've worked with elite college coaches that were vying for national championships. I know that if you're going to do an adequate job, you can't get more than 8. If you want to do a great job, you need to get down to 4 or 5. You cannot provide individual assistance to a player if you're running 20-to-1. It just can't be done. All you're doing is running a bunch of drills and throwing people through the paces. Now, that's not teaching to me. That's just going through group drills. And, there's not a lot of new drills that are coming out of pickleball. One of these days, I'm going to put together a book that's got 500 drills. Okay, that's down my priority list, but that's going to happen one of these days. So at IPTPA, we've got three things, okay, all to provide the highest value to our players, which are our customers. 8-to-1 ratio. Everybody's got to be in a like-skilled group, which, by the way, is the only reason I started the IPTPA rating system. Because when we were doing clinics, we were getting so many people that said they were advanced players. They showed up at the clinic and they were 3.5s. Well, then you got to move around all these players and you got to waste 45 minutes. I don't want to waste 5 minutes. I want all of our instructors' time feeding balls to the players, because that's how you learn. You learn by developing muscle memory and going through the correct techniques. So that's number 2. The third objective was that if you're doing a clinic, all of your instructors need to be on the same page, so they all should be IPTPA certified instructors. Now, that does not mean that I don't recognize that there may be other good instructors that aren't IPTPA. I'm certain that there are, okay? Even though IPTPA is made up of probably 95% of the best in the world, there are some that are out there that are probably pretty good, darn good teachers. What I don't want to see happen, and what I saw happen at some of these early boot camps, is that there was ratios of 40-to-1. You had 2 IPTPA instructors, two other instructors that weren't IPTPA, and people were rotating from one group to the other. And one instructor said, this is the way you do your third shot drop. And when they rotated to another coach said, no, that's not the way you do it. This is the way you do it. Well, now what's the player supposed to believe, right? That shouldn't happen, because that just creates confusion. I'm not interested in who's right and who's wrong. It just shouldn't happen. So at IPTPA, we've got all of our instructors who are encouraged. Those that got certified prior to us having our handbook, we want you all to be able to attend the Teach the Teacher workshop. We've got a 65-page manual which goes over how to build a lesson plan, how much time is required when you introduce a skill, demonstrate the skill. We want 50 to 55 minutes of actual feeding balls, because that's where the students are actually learning. Then you detect and you correct. And we go over the tools of how to do that effectively. We've got some great players that need to get into those workshops because they're not great teachers yet. Okay?
We've got some great questions. We got some other great questions.
Shoot away.
Also, I just want to welcome, we have Tyson McGuffin.
Hey, Tyson.
So this is the #1 ranked singles player in the world. And the
#1 trained player in the world. I love that part of what he's doing.
I'm proud to say that was one of the people I certified. And going through the skills test, I don't think he missed the ball. Right?
Yeah, I remember you told me that.
Amazing guy.
Yes, he is.
Andy Gench. I too welcome the entrance of PPR into pickleball instruction. However, my hope is that their curriculum is legitimate and teaches smart pickleball. If it is significantly different, there will be a problem. I want all players to learn to play the game the right way. I also have Tony Corbeau again saying, I agree, it's impossible to provide proper hands-on training larger than 8-to-1. Julie Walter Scott says, forgive me if you already covered this, but the IPTPA rating system, is it solely based on skill? So I think you should go on talking about.
So the IPTPA rating system is not solely based on skills, but that's